Alright, so I was in the shower the other day and I came up with this really dumb or really smart idea, it depends on how this goes, to make myself sound like Billie Eilish. I remade the instrumental to Everything I Wanted, recorded vocals over that, and documented the process on TikTok to try to make myself sound like Billie Eilish. Here's a little clip of that if you want to see it. Alright, so here's her vocals. I had a dream. So we're trying to sound like that. I can't do vibrato. Alright, let's actually try recording. I had a dream. Does this even sound right? Got everything I want. I think we're gonna go with it. We gotta format this so that the tonality better resembles Billie Eilish. So I did some rough mixing. Let's see if I sound like Billie Eilish yet. But that was just a small portion of what I was actually able to do. So here's more of the vocals that I recorded, and I'm gonna be breaking down how I made the instrumental to Everything I Wanted. A dream. I got everything I wanted, not what you think. And if I'm being honest, it might have been a nightmare to anyone who might care. Thought I could fly, so I stepped off the golden. Nobody cried, nobody even noticed. I saw them standing right there. Kinda thought they might care. I had a dream, I got everything I wanted, but when I wake up I see you with me. And you say, as long as I'm here, no one can hurt you. Don't wanna lie here, but you can learn to. If I could change the way that you see yourself, you wouldn't wonder why here they don't deserve you. So let's break down how I made the instrumental, but before we do, I gotta tell you guys something. Welcome back to our wall. Let's see if I have a silver play button yet. What? Billie Eilish? Do you think I'm gonna get a silver play button this year?
Duh.
So the goal is to get a silver play button by the end of 2020. We just recently hit 10,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 11,000, but we need another 90,000 if we want to hit that goal. So if you want to be part of this wall and join the journey to 100,000 subscribers, feel free to click subscribe. It's free. And although Billie Eilish is a great singer, we don't want her to be here for too long. All right, so as you heard earlier, I completely recreated the instrumental to Everything I Wanted, and I also recorded vocals to make it sound a little bit more like Billie Eilish. Everything in this project was done with stock plugins in FL Studio. This video sounds so close like the actual song that it's probably gonna get a copyright claim. So if you guys wanna help support the channel and get a little bit of bonuses in the process, feel free to check out my Patreon down below, patreon.com/AdrielRivera. Everybody in the Genius tier is gonna be getting this project file. I'm gonna organize it a little better before I put it on my Patreon, but everybody that's a patron, no matter what tier it is gonna get their name on a plaque that's gonna hang up in my studio. If you don't know already, we're building a studio out of the shed in my backyard, and if you want to check out that process, click the video up here. But once that studio is complete, all the patrons that helped me build that studio is gonna get their name on a plaque that's gonna hang up behind me at all times when recording in there. So basically your name is gonna be in almost every single video in the future. This coffee's delicious. It's my old Wonder mug. So first things first, we're gonna go over verse 1. I'm not gonna break down everything because there's just so many things that I did, but the first thing I do want to break down is this piano. The piano that Billie Eilish uses in her song is very soft, so you can see that I put the velocity really low. That means we're gonna get a very soft sounding piano. And because the velocity is very low, it's going to sound really quiet. So what I had to do was I had to boost up the gain of the piano a little bit afterwards so it could get more volume after being such a low velocity. And to get that pulsating sound that the piano has, you put in gross beat, set the volume to sidechain, and adjust so that it sounds closer to the piano that Billie Eilish uses. Fun fact. Billie Eilish didn't produce this song. It was actually her brother Phineas. I learned that as I was making this instrumental. Good job, Phineas. It sounds great. Next, I made a kick using the plugin Fruitkick. These were the parameters that I used. Put it into the mixer, added a transient processor and an EQ, and then we get a kick that sounds similar to the one that Billie Eilish uses. After that, we got claps and side sticks that I recorded myself. If you didn't see that video about making your own sample packs and you want to, feel free to click the icon up here. I made these samples in that video and I decided to reuse them for this instrumental. It sounded close enough to me, so I put them in here and boom, claps and side sticks. And as you can hear, there's a little shuffling sound, I guess you could say, between the claps and the side sticks. The way that I achieved that was adjusting the velocity of each individual note. So if we go to this side stick here and we look at the velocity, you can see that the highest velocity is on the last hit right here, but the lowest ones are in the beginning. So then you get this shuffling sound in the side stick. But then when you combine that with the clap that also has different velocities, it sounds really dope. And last but not least, the verse has this little bell sound that plays out throughout it. It's a detuned sound, so I made sure to recapture that using 3x OSC. Made everything sine wave, put a little envelope on it, and when you bring that into the mixer chain, you add a little bit of destructor, limiter, reverb, EQ, gross beat. And the gross beat's only for some areas of the bells. That's why I got some automation down here. More coffee. Throughout majority of the verse, there's this single note for the bells. However, when it gets towards the end of the verse, we start playing some chords with these bells. So altogether, everything sounds like this. Pretty good. Next, we're gonna go into the chorus that uses a lot of the same sounds but adds a little bit of different elements and also a chord change. Only one chord in the entire progression changes. However, it adds a little bit more pizzazz, which I really do like. Specifically, the chord changes right here. Right here, go. Ooh. If you remember in the song when Billie goes, if I could change the way that you see yourself, that way is right here. Way that you see yourself. So that note right there is what makes the chord change. However, what else is added in the chorus is an 808. It's really just the bass, but I call it an 808 because who doesn't call it an 808? Now I have a lot of 808 samples that I could have used, but I decided to do it all with stock plugins like I said. So I made an 808 out of a 3x OSC, added it into my mixer channel, added some destructor for some distortion, an EQ, and gross beat. So we have a really solid bass. And last but not least, there's a mellotron in the chorus. However, as far as I know, FL Studio doesn't have its own mellotron, so I had to remake a mellotron. And if you don't know what a mellotron is, it's basically a really old sampler. It was used back in the days of the Beatles and stuff like that. Basically, it looked like a keyboard. However, there was tapes inside of it, and these tapes had recordings of things like strings or flutes. And basically, when you would play a key, the tape would be playing and it would be looping and looping over and over and giving this unique, distinct sound. This is my knowledge of a mellotron. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's what a mellotron is. I've watched like one video about it. So here's the recreation of my mellotron. I made my own mellotron by using Flex. Pack updates are available for download. What? I'll have to get those later. I used the flute sustain, put it into the mixer channel, added some distortion, added some EQ, added some reverb. Wait, let me backtrack a little bit. The distortion has a bit crusher on it, so it makes it sound lower quality. And in my opinion, that's the key to getting that mellotron sound. Having a lower quality sound is gonna make it sound more like a mellotron. So the bit crusher is gonna make it sound more low quality or lo-fi. I also made sure to chop up the chords and turn down the decay and the release so that it cuts off very fast, because like I said, a mellotron is a tape recording, and the moment you take your hand off a key, it's gonna stop. So there's no decay, no release, it stops dead in its tracks. So you wanna make sure that the release and the decay is off, or at least as low as possible. Altogether, the chorus sounds like this. Next, we're gonna move on to verse 2, which is really only one thing that's added. That one thing is this pluck, and I'm really proud of this pluck. I was listening to the instrumental, the original instrumental, and I was like, man, how am I gonna recreate this pluck? But I actually recreated it using a 3X OSC right here. And man, 3X OSC is powerful. Maybe it's because this is like really the only synth that I know how to use, but it's getting a lot done, so good job 3X OSC. So here's the pluck sound that's used in the verse. It's very low pitch. When you get later into the verse, it goes up the octave and then up the octave again. It's a really cool sound, and I actually really love how it sounds like. And in order to make this, I made everything sine waves, detuned it a little bit, made sure that the envelope was very tight, so it's like a pluck sound. And then when you bring it into your mixer channel, EQ out the high end so you hear only really the low end, and a Fruity Love filter, which I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what I did, but I made it sound pretty close to it. So this is what I used the Fruity Love filter for. And then here's some reverb, and I'd say we got a pretty similar pluck sound. All together sounds like this. Last but not least, I'm gonna go over my vocals. How did I sing like Billie Eilish? Hopefully you guys think I sound like Billie Eilish in this video. We're gonna go over that again. So here's my vocals right here.
I had a dream. I got everything I wanted.
First things first, I had to record myself actually singing, and then what I did was I brought that vocal into Edison, selected everything, went down to time stretch as pitch shift, and I formatted my vocal. And basically what that means is I brought up the factor course, because this isn't changing the pitch, however the tonality. So basically, the more to the left, the higher it's gonna sound, the more to the right, the lower it's gonna sound. So I made my voice sound a little higher, but I didn't change the pitch, so this gives me a more feminine sound to my voice. Once I liked where it was, I clicked accept, and basically that adjusted my whole vocal. And then obviously I did all the vocal processing stuff that I do to vocals: pitch correction, EQ, compression, reverb, delay. I don't think I use delay here though, but basically everything that a vocal uses. And if you want to know how to mix your vocals, feel free to click the eye icon up here. I made a whole vocal mixing tutorial. You guys are gonna like it, so check it out. But during the chorus, I have a couple harmonies that you could hear here.
And you say, as long as I'm here, no one can hurt you. Don't wanna lie here, but you can learn to. If I could change the way that you see yourself, you wouldn't wonder why here they don't deserve you.
I don't know if you could tell, but I lost my breath here.
They don't deserve you.
Anyway, in the actual song, the harmony is there, and what's cool is that her brother, Phineas, the one that produced the song, also sings with her during the chorus, which is why you hear that really low harmony that I did back here.
As long as I'm here.
To get my voice to sound lower, I did the whole thing that I did to make myself sound like Billie Eilish. I just formatted my voice to make it sound lower. However, with the harmonies, I did the same thing, formatted it to sound higher, but just harmonized with myself in the chorus.
As long as I'm here, as long as I'm here, no one can hurt you.
I had a lot of fun recreating this instrumental. There's so many different bits and pieces that you don't hear when you're just listening to the song in general. Once you really nitpick the different sounds, you start noticing things that you might have not noticed before. And when it comes to music production, I definitely think that remaking instrumentals is a great way to learn how to make music in general, because then you start to understand song structure, you start to understand the little things that people do and the reasons why they do it. And when I was first starting off in music production, I recreated a lot of instrumentals, and I still do, as you can see. It's really fun because you could test your production skills, see how close you could get it to the original, but it's also a great way to learn a little bit more about music production. This video is probably gonna get copyright claim, but if you wanna help support the channel, because YouTube doesn't pay that much, feel free to click the Patreon link down below. The genius here of my Patreon will get this project file, plus a lot of other things that are gonna be coming out on my Patreon soon. However, everybody, no matter what tier that becomes a patron, will get their name on a plaque that's gonna be sitting in my completed studio and will basically be visible in every single one of my future videos. That studio is under construction right now, and if you wanna see the process of me building that studio, feel free to click the eye icon up here. It's so fun making it, and it's gonna be great when it's all complete. So if you guys wanna help out build that studio, feel free to become a patron. I really appreciate you guys so much. Subscribe if you haven't already. The goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. I think we can do it, so come join the journey. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Eat a lot of oranges, especially in these times. But most importantly, don't be afraid to show your genius.
Someone be something that I gotta stay on it, on it. Don't stop, keep the motion. Someone be something that I gotta stay moving, moving. No, don't stop, keep it grooving. That's what I want, that's what I need. Only support I'm getting now is from my family. When I am meeting other people, when I tell them what I wanna do, I know that they're thinking that I won't succeed. No, 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 there's no